Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, reshuffles the top management of the Apex Bank. Approval for the international money transfer market finally out. Plus, bank's verification number exercise begins. Business Incorporated speaks to the drivers of the Bankers Committee's initiative.
It's about encouraging people to take transactions that were done largely with cash and moving them to electronic means.
Details later on the show. Welcome to the program. This week, our focus is on the financial inclusion strategy of the Central Bank of Nigeria, in which the Bankers Committee includes plan to get bank customers biometrics with the use of fingerprints and facial image, after which each customer will be given a bank verification number, otherwise called BVN. According to the committee, the essence of the project is for banks to know the customers better while tracking the credit records and other details which will aid the operation of banks in general. We will get back to this in the course of the program. But first, some headlines. The Central Bank Governor, Godwin Emefiele, redeploys top management of the Apex Bank. Governor of the Central Bank, Godwin Emefiele, has made some reorganization of the top management of the bank in line with its vision of entrenching a more professional and people-focused central bank. This involves the redeployment of the deputy governors of the bank. In a circular released by the Apex Bank during the week, Alhaji Sulaiman Barau, Corporate Services Directorate, is now the deputy governor in charge of operations. Dr. Kingsley Mohalu, currently the Deputy Governor, Operations, returns to the Financial System Stability Directorate, while Mr. Adebayo Adelabu, who is in charge of Financial System Stability, is now the Deputy Governor, Corporate Services. Dr. Sarah Lade retains her position as the Deputy Governor, Economic Policy Directorate. These redeployments, which take effect from Monday, the 23rd of June, is expected to contribute to the bank's vision of being the model central bank, delivering price and financial system stability and promoting sustainable economic development. The Central Bank of Nigeria has finally approved a guideline for the operation of deposit money banks in the international money transfer market. In the release made available by the Apex Bank, the objectives of the guideline include the provision of minimum standards and requirements for international money transfer services operation in the country, specification of delivery channels for offering international money transfer services, both for inbound and outbound services, in a cost-effective manner, and the provision of an enabling environment for international money transfer services in the Nigerian economy. The Apex Bank has earlier issued a draft guideline and asked the banks to add to the input. They were meant to submit that on June the 20th. And finally, on the headlines, the Nigerian Stock Exchange has announced the review of the NSE 30, NSE 50, and the 5 sectoral indices of the exchange, the NSE Banking, Consumer Goods, Oil and Gas, Industrial, Insurance, and the Lotus Islamic indices. The composition of these indices after the review will be effective on July the 1st, with the NSE Index team having commenced work intensely. The review is set to witness the entry and re-entry of some major companies and the exit of others. As the Index Committee explained, the NSE 30, 50 and industrial indices and modified market capitalization indices with the numbers of included stocks fixed at 30, 50 and 10 each. The numbers of included stocks in the NSE Consumer Goods, Banking, Insurance and Oil and Gas indices are 15, 10, 15 and 7 in that. Adebisi Shonubi is the CEO at the Nigeria Interbank Settlement System. It tells Business Incorporated that the bank verification number exercise is being rolled out in Lagos and Abuja, after which the initiative will be rolled out to other parts of the country by the end of the year. Now, thank you, Mr. Shonubi, for your time with us on the program. First of all, I'd like you to tell us what the bank verification exercise is all about?
We prefer calling it the bank verification number, BVN. And it's a way of uniquely identifying each customer to the accounts that he has in the banks. So if you have so many accounts over so many banks, it's the same unique identifier that you'll have right across. And today, some of the more unique identifiers are biometric driven. The benefits we see for the customer is we know who you are. So if somebody else pretends to be you, we can easily identify. Second, we intend to maintain what we call a blacklist. In the past, people would defraud banks and then turn up as a new person in another bank, start an account, and over time perpetuate the same activity. So we can identify those who are fraudulent. And the last but not the least is that it would allow us down the road take your biometrics as a means of authorization. So you can go to an ATM and it's your thumbprint. You don't need to remember a PIN, you don't need to carry a card, so it would allow you to transact business and uniquely say it's you.
When we look at this initiative and when we consider the fact that when you want to open a bank account in any of the commercial banks, you're asked to bring either an international passport or you bring your driver's license or any other identification. But with this initiative, do you still need to bring all of those things when we come to the operations of the banks when you want to open an account? Do you need to bring these items?
Okay, remember the verification number is tied to an account, so it presupposes you already have an account. And at the point when you were opening the account, they'd have asked you for most of the verification that you have. So all that you need to come with is some recognized means of identification to validate that you are who you say you are. Because I could easily go and register in a bank and get a fake driving license, and even though my name is Shonubi, the fake driving license may say something else. But the moment we enroll you under the verification, that is the name you carry for life against that identification. Unless, of course, you're a woman and you marry and there's some processes for that.
The project was inaugurated on February 14 by the former governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Sanusi Lamido Sanusi. How did the pilot phase go?
The pilot phase was very interesting because what you do in a project like this is you have what we call a standard package, and then you customize it for the environment. So the solution providers gave us the solution as we understood it in environments like ours, but not unique to our own. So what we've done with the pilot phase so far is we've tested and modified. We've, I would say, calibrated so it works with our environment. And then we've gone to bank branches and then done real live enrollments. So through the process, we can work out what's good, what's bad, and tweak it. So that's what the pilot phase was all about. Getting the equipment in, testing it in our environment, making sure it would work in Nigeria for Nigerians.
How many customers were registered?
To date, I think we're shy of 10,000, and they're mainly bank staff, but we started enrolling individuals.
We understand that over 7,000 BDNs, like you mentioned, about 10,000 BDNs have been issued by 21 banks to existing internal bank customers during the pilot phase. Could you tell us more about this development?
What happened during the pilot was we learned the process of sending the devices, because these are not small devices. They're not that big, but it's still like 5 or 6 items that go to each branch. So there's logistics issues we've learned about. How do you deliver 1,000 devices to so many branches only in Lagos, even before we start going out? So we've mastered that. So having mastered the logistics, we've then tested the connectivity and the response time for bank staff to get enrolled. So they've enrolled. We have in some banks way over 2,000 people, in some a few less than that. But every bank has tried and come back with feedback. We've modified. Sometimes it's not the technology, but the process. So I would say it's been very successful.